Okay, everybody, it's 5:30 p.m. I'd like to begin this caucus session of council. We have 4 items for action this evening under new business. 2 big ordinances, 1 resolution, and 1 motion. Are there any recommended changes or additions to the agenda as presented this evening? Thank you. I would like to call this October 7th, 2015 council meeting to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Kozar?
Yes.
Mr. Morvay? Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Mr. Tisch?
Here.
Thank you. All of you have received a set of minutes from the September regular council meeting. Are there any revisions to those minutes? If not, they stand approved and on record. Under reading of communications, Mr. Tisch.
I have no communication.
Thank you. Mr. Rogers.
I have no communication today.
Mayor Kozar.
I have nothing.
Mr. Warreno.
Yes, a couple pieces of correspondence. First off, I received a letter from the Canfield 4th of July Committee thanking the city for the last year's participation, and certainly want to pass that on. I think all of you received a copy of the judgment entry, which corrects the deficiencies in the charter amendment, putting the elections back into the odd years. That's been approved. I received a letter from the Board of Health with regard to 33 Kirk, and they did go out and re-inspect the property. They did find a couple of violations out there, but primarily the dwelling needs to be reasonably weather-tight and rodent-proof. So we have something that we can argue along with our case of getting the place, declared a public health nuisance and move towards demolition. Also received notification from the state of Ohio that the city's share of the salt settlement was $5,883.94, which amounts to about 55 tons of salt, which would be about an average snowfall. One event to go out there and take care of it. And lastly is another letter that came today from the District Board of Health, and it's in reference to the property at 514 Hickory Hollow. And they did a re-inspection after the auction, and there's quite a shopping list of items that need to be addressed inside the property before it can become habitable. And this was directed to the Guardian, a copy to myself and the fire chief. That's all I have under correspondence.
You had mentioned the copy of the journal entry with regard to the filing on the charter amendments. I did not receive that. You said
We
you
didn't get
should
it until
have.
after the packets went out.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was going. Well, I thought it went out with the last packet, but I'll make sure it's in front of you.
Thank you.
Under reports of committees, city manager, and department heads, Mr. Rogers.
I have no report this evening.
Mayor Kozar.
I have the report for the court for the month of September. We had gross collections of $7,802.09, and after we paid to the various funds that were required to under the law, we netted out $6,646.09.
Joe.
Okay, as we mentioned, we have 4 items on the agenda this evening to deal with. The first being the approval of change order 1 and final for the East Main Street pedestrian facility. That's the sidewalk project on 224. And basically, as we do with all contracts, this is the closeout of quantities. There's some pluses and some minuses. The net is a decrease of the contract of amount of $6,250.10 from the original base bid. There are some issues that are still out there with regard to the seating and the landscaping. It does seem to be coming in very well in recent weeks. What the state would probably require at the either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, is some weed killer or fertilizer put down to get rid of the weeds that had taken over before the grass was able to grow. But I think we have a pretty good base right there. Right? If you're driven down there, you can see it's coming rather well in the last couple of weeks. And as a result, we finally got some rain. I hate to wish for rain, but we did need some. Similar situation, just kind of getting off base here with the water line project. That's been on hold. Everything's been closed out and it's considered substantially complete with the exception of the landscaping. And we're coming to through some negotiations of whether we want to request a maintenance bond or what we want to do to satisfy that particular project so we can get it closed out. But there are, at last count, I believe, 13 trees that are dead. The contractor has acknowledged that they are going to replace them. It's just a problem as to when you can get pine trees from the nursery. I don't know that they can get them during the winter months. They may have to wait till spring to replace those. And then the same thing, the grass, the seed was put down in June, sat for 2 months of dry weather. I don't think they made any attempt at watering it that I'm aware of. And just with the recent rains, you could start to see a little bit of a green hue out there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the springtime to address that. So we're still talking about that. Let's see, the second item on the agenda is an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for the construction of a police department addition. And we had open bids last Friday, and the bids come in under the engineer's estimate, and we're prepared to make a recommendation for approval and move forward with that project. Excuse me. Next being a resolution adopting the amended section 125 of the cafeteria plan. This is annually adopted by the city. It's part of our insurance policy, which provides a benefit to the employees that they can put money aside for medical expenses if they know, I guess best case situation would be if they know that they're going to have some type of surgery during the period of the year, they can set aside their local share or their copay for that surgery ahead of time, and it becomes a tax deduction for them, and it's a benefit for the employees. So that's on there. And lastly is a motion to waive the zoning fees for the Canfield Joint Fire District. This request came to me from the fire chief. You're all aware that they are building a fire station or proposing to build a fire station on Herbert Road. The property requires a zone change and also requires a replat. And both have public hearings tied to them which require a fee being paid. In both instances, there's only 2 properties that are involved, so the fee that's collected basically pays for the putting together the letters and holding the hearing. But again, in this particular case, there's only 2 properties that would have to be notified. What's the other cost? The actual asking for the adjustment is a $100 fee as well. So that's up to council whether they want to waive those fees or not. We do have a link to the fire department. Certainly council's decision whether they can waive those or not. The other items I wanted to talk about, setting the dates for leaf pickup this year. We'd like to start collecting next Monday on October 12th and carry the program through November 25th, ending at the week of the Thanksgiving. If that's okay with council, I'd like to go ahead and advertise those particular dates. Well, I put in the memo, we need to take some action at some point in time and possibly at the next meeting regarding our member of the JET agreement, the JET board. One part of that agreement establishes a 5-member board, but at this time, since there's no facility operating there, we need to establish the first 3 members, that being 1 member representing council, 1 representing the township, and 1 representing the owner of the property. So we need to decide who wants to be the representative for council on the JED board. I pass this on to the township as well, and hopefully they'll be making their recommendation soon. Yeah, and again, as I mentioned, it doesn't have to be a council member. It could be somebody representing council, serving in that capacity. A couple other things. We do have an exit interview planned for the last audit. That's tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon if anybody wants to participate. The mayor and I will be participating, as well as the finance director. She loves this. I did receive a petition last week from the majority of the residents on Chapel Lane and Dartmouth requesting sidewalks in that area. I told them that I would take a look at it and find out what the costs are and present that to council. And I also advised them that I'm not aware of any grants or anything that could help fund that, so I'm not sure how far we can go with it, but just wanted to bring that to your attention at this particular time. And let's see. I think Mark will report on the meeting he attended with regard to the income tax and the establishments of our income tax review board. That's pretty much all I have for this evening.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
A couple things. A number, D, I guess, actually, this evening, too. We're voting on that one there. Where's the parcel that they're buying right now? Where is that?
Right between the Old North Church and Star Extrusions.
How big is
It's
that?
actually owned by Star Extrusions. They're looking
I know
to
where it is here.
looking to replat a piece of that property.
The whole parcel.
No, it's not the whole parcel. They're
How
going to
many
bring
acres are they buying, though? Acres you're talking?
about 2.
2 acres? Okay, thank you. Well, actually, also, another item, too. I really want to thank you and Todd for taking the action with the water issue of Woodridge Development, the pressure issue. I commend you, too, for just doing a great job. I think we solved the issue. We may have, luckily. I think that was it. So I want to thank you both and your team for what you've done.
You're saying the issue solved?
Well, I think it is now. From what I think right now, that looks like it's
It's all being
so far.
the meters that were installed up there, the screens were plugged, and there was some debris in the meters themselves. We're going with the new, what's called the E-meter series, or E-series meter. It's a digital meter. There's no moving parts within it. It requires no screens. That's increased the flow. We've had 65 pounds pressure recorded in that area, and an average of about 9.5 to 10 gallons per minute flow through the home. So everybody's been real satisfied with the change.
I think the point of clarification, though, is that it did not end up being a pressure problem.
Right.
It ended up being a restriction in the line problem.
Well, that's what I meant.
Okay.
They resolved
They
the
resolved the issue.
the issue by doing that. And that's what I'm saying. And I appreciate what you've done. I think it's worked. Fingers are crossed. I think it's worked. Thank you.
A question also with regard to the waiving the zoning fees for the fire district. You'd indicated the chief had asked for that. Is the board online with making that request so that we're not going to get into a...
Yes,
Okay.
I guess, through the chief that the board has made that request.
Very good.
And I had spoken to Councilman Morvay, who sits on the board, and certainly supportive of it.
Great.
Couldn't be here this evening.
Good.
And he couldn't vote on it anyway had he been here, since he's a member of the board.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Month of September, we had one funeral, which was a full internment. We made 5 water main repairs. We poured footers in the cemetery for headstones. We do that twice a year. That was our second pouring for this year. The next time we pour footers will be next year before Memorial Day. We've been busy flushing fire hydrants, mowing grass, prepping the beds on the green for the tulips, sign repair and general maintenance. We've also put the leaf boxes on the truck. We have the backsail service pretty much ready to start leaf pickup. And I just want to remind residents that leaf pickup, we can only pick up leaves. We can't pick up bricks, corn stalks, maiden grass, summer flowers, and whatever they put out, somebody seems to think we can pick it up and we can't. Last year, we spent $2,700 in repairs on the one PTO unit on the vacs. When you suck in a slug of that maiden grass or summer flowers or whatever, it's just like taking your car and driving it into a brick wall, because that fan hits that hard slug of green maiden grass or whatever, and it just shakes that whole machine. But we spent $2,700 last year just repairing the one PTO unit. That's the reason we can't pick those things up.
No, I think it's okay to have a little bit of grass in those clippings.
It'll pick up a little bit of grass, yeah. The maiden grass or the things like the resident brought in here before and complained were picked up at brush pickup. Those type of things we just can't. They're not designed to do that. Grass clippings will go through. That's not a problem.
Good.
That's all I have.
Okay. Joe's pretty much covered everything I've got. We did get the check for that rock salt settlement on Monday. It did come in the mail. We've deposited it already. The resolution for the cafeteria plan, the employees pay 12% towards our health insurance, and that allows us, this plan allows us to do it pre-tax for them, so that helps them out. And then the exit conference for our 2014 audits tomorrow.
A question with regard to that. Are we going to have the same comments at the end of this audit as we've had on the last couple?
Yes, all three are repeat comments.
I probably am not going to be able to attend because of another meeting. So if you want to play Chuck Tish and make the comments on behalf of me, that's fine. And if I can get
Nick
here, I'll
and
be
Chris
more
will
than
appreciate it.
That's hard to do though, Chuck. It's very difficult to do that.
Thank you.
For the month of September, we had issued 21 permits for a total of $473,903 for 21 permits.
We continue to run our radar zones in the various areas around the schools. I will report that we haven't had many customers. It seems like some people have got the message. So contrary to what we hear from time to time, I don't believe it's as bad as at least one person makes it sound. So I'm happy with that. We're not going to be there for everything, and it will continue to do it. The school seems to be happy. The students seem to have gotten the message, and they've been very cooperative. And it's been that way for several years. And we appreciate our students' cooperation with our efforts to slow everything down. We have participated in a few block parties. We were at St. Mike's Church. Our K-9 did a demonstration, and we'll continue to do that. Pretty much it.
Mark?
A few items. Joe brought up the JED. We need to get that appointment taken care of. I'm happy to report that Judge Dapolito signed the order that we had sought relative to cleaning up the term limit issue that arose, excuse me, that had arisen as a result of the prior charter amendments. So that's taken care of. Excuse me. I did attend a House Bill 5 conference with Vicki. Really not too much to report that she hadn't already reported. In November, we'll have some ordinances for you to consider. That's really about it.
Okay, under persons desiring additional information from department heads, may I ask that you step forward to the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record, and keep your questions to a 3-minute maximum per person, no more than 30 minutes total. Your questions must only pertain to each department head's report this evening. Okay. Under recognition of persons desiring to speak before council, may I ask that you step forward to the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record, and keep your comments brief. Joe, is this right?
Sorry, I had music. It's going to be long
It just said I'm on time. I made the meeting.
It's pretty calming music.
It was nice. It was calming. I didn't think I'd say the rock and roll stuff. But that won't happen again. I'm learning about this. I wanted to do a few things. One, I wanted to introduce some changes to the committee that we have, the Citizens Committee to keep Canfield. We have a new member or two, and we've modified our focus based on what we learned from the failed attempt to increase our taxes. I'm going to tell you that we have myself as chairman, Marlene Bellafiore, Nancy Brundage is new. I think most people know who you are, right? John Cataline, Rick Duffett, Dennis Galvin. Everybody knows who Dennis is as well, right? He's got his nose taped up. Okay, let's see. Bill Kay, Mike Kavitsa, Maddie LaCicero, my wife, Nick Rosian, Chuck Woods, and Pat Womer, who's here this evening. And I guess it's my opportunity to thank you all for doing such good work. We said that our main purpose, which was to provide fact-based information to the citizens of Canfield, hasn't changed, but our focus has changed some. What we wanted to do now, because we think we know that there are people that are very uninformed about how the city works, but also people that are misinformed. So we want to focus on that. We want to find out more specifically what they know about the city, what services are provided, what they value, what services they value, and how satisfied they are with those services. It's kind of the focus of us going to find out. But the information that we think they need to know more about is their city in general, our government, city finances, the role of city leadership, the role of a citizen, which is something that we're embarking on now, and then city leadership. So I wanted to tell you about a couple of the tasks that we're involved in. One is we've entitled it Meet the Employees of the City. And what we were thinking was that you all work for us. Is that okay to think that way? That's how you think too, probably, right? So, given that, then if we are your employers, we ought to know something about the people that work for us, don't you think? And we also thought that when there isn't a face put on an employee or even an employer, it's easier to be rough on them, or to make assumptions and so forth. So on the content side of it, we thought that, and with the help of JT, who's always helpful, and Joe's cooperation, that we would profile employees, our employees, from top to bottom, sideways, not all of them, but certain ones. And JT would write an article similar to the one he wrote about my cook, which when we read, thought that was a great model. We got to know you more as a person and understand what you do for the city, and it was interesting. It wasn't a litany of things. So we thought it would be a longer-term project, profile different people, and then we would know more about not only who people are, but what they do, and a little bit more about the city. And I think that that's going to happen soon, right? Okay. Then the other, we have an essay contest, which we are sponsoring for. At first we thought it would be the city, but then we thought we should extend it to the township, because it's about citizenship, and though we informed the school, we are not really working in conjunction with it. We're just going after certain age groups, right? 3 different age groups. And we're asking them to write a survey on what does it mean to be a citizen of Canfield. And we have a few prizes, first and second prizes. For the winners, we're looking for originality, content, those kind of things we look for in an essay. But what we thought would really be interesting is to hear from younger people on how they see citizenship. Because I think it'll be a nice, fresh look, and most people, I think, respect what young people say. You know, they're pretty fresh-minded. They aren't as contaminated as some of us older folks get to be after experience. But the highlight of the essay contest is that the winners get to have lunch with Mr. Kosar and Marie is a Cartwright from the township. And then I figure you guys are going to buy it. We won't have to raise money for that. Good. And that, again, is through the help of JT Whitehouse and the crowd. Okay, the last one is we thought we'd have our survey plans ready to go at the end of September, and we really underestimated what that initiative is going to take. And so we are working at it. You know, we know what we want to find out, the things that I mentioned. We want to know what they know about the city, how much they understand, all of us, I should say, about the city, how they, what they value in the way of services, and what their satisfaction level is on the services they value. And we thought that when we did get that content, we don't have a timetable yet, but when we do, I'll report. It'll be useful, I think, in the budgeting and planning for next year, and we'll also report back to the citizens on what they say. Okay. The other thing I wanted to do tonight, but he can't make it, I wanted to introduce David Hofses, if I pronounce that right, Hofses. He's a Canfield High School junior, and along with Jake Esarco, those two gentlemen are going to help us with the survey. And I met him last night. He made a very interesting presentation. He recently attended the Buckeye Boys Day sponsored by our local American Legion Post 177. Very, very bright. I hope you all get a chance to meet these two people. It really, what's the word, makes you feel good about the upcoming generation. Okay, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Joe. Just a comment. These two individuals are National Honor Society people, and they're going to be doing a civic project for National Honor Society. And they walk through our front door at just the right moment when we want to find out what the people of Canfield are thinking, and these two showed up wanting to do the project, and I think they're going to be perfect for what we're looking for. Information about how the citizens of Canfield feel. Thanks, Joe.
Marty Murphy.
Hello, I apologize. Our former mayor, actually I saw him today, and he told me the meeting started at 6. My name is Dr. Marty Murphy, 20 Dartmouth Drive, Canfield. I'm the president of Canfield Junior Women's League. And on behalf of the Junior Women's League of Canfield, we would like to thank the city, the police department, and the fire department for their continued support and participation in the annual fall market on the green. This happened to be our 46th year, and our 47th year is already piecing out to look even bigger and better. We've already pre-sold 100 spots, so it's wonderful. The police on duty that day were amazing and went above and beyond to help us, our vendors, and our patrons. The proceeds from the event will help to provide scholarships to graduating seniors, as well as provide support to area charities, community projects, and families in need. So once again, I thank you for your continued and invaluable support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. There is none. Scooby-Doo. Andy, I expect to do it first. Okay, under new business, item A. As per the provisions of section 4.05 of the Charter of the City of Canfield, I move that the council dispense with the requirement of a full reading of the proposed ordinance and authorize it by title only. Do I have a second? Mayor? Discussion? There being none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
As per the provisions of section 4.05 of the Charter of the City of Canfield, I move the council dispense with the requirement of 2 readings of the proposed ordinance and authorize adoption of the same upon its first reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. Roll call?
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes. Mr. President, I have an ordinance authorizing change order number 1 and final for the US 224 East Main Street pedestrian facility, ODOT PID 98869. PID stands for Project Identification Number. I'll move for passage.
Second. Steve, second. Discussion? Public comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
And the number is?
2015-31.
Thank you. As per the provisions of section 4.05 of the Charter of the City of Canfield, I move that council dispense with the requirement of a full reading of the proposed ordinance and authorize it by title only. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mayor. Discussion. There being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
As per the provisions of section 4.05 of the Charter of the City of Canfield, I move that council dispense with the requirement of 2 readings of the proposed ordinance and authorize adoption of the same upon its first reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Chuck? Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for the construction of a police department addition. I move for passage of this ordinance.
Second.
Mayor, second. Discussion?
I'd only make a comment that our estimate on this project was $500,000, and the project that we are authorizing is at an amount of $478,690.
Okay. Public comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
And the number is?
2015-32.
Thank you. As per the provisions of section 4.05 of the Charter of the City of Canfield, I move that council dispense with the requirement of a full reading of the proposed resolution and authorize it by title only. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
As per the provisions of section 4.05 of the Charter of the City of Canfield, I move that council dispense with the requirement of 2 readings of the proposed resolution and authorize adoption of the same upon its first reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Tisch. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
Mr. President, I have a resolution adopting an amended Section 125 cafeteria plan. I move for passage.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Tisch. Discussion? Public comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
And the number is?
2015-11.
Thank you. As per the provision of section 4.05 of the Charter of the City of Canfield, and move the council discusses the requirement of a full reading of the proposed motion and authorize it by title only. Do I have a second? Second. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes. Mr. President, I have a motion to waive zoning fees for the Cardinal Joint Fire District. I move for passage.
Second.
Discussion?
Can I interject real quick, just in terms of precedence? The city is not subject to its own zoning ordinances or permit requirements. As the city is a party to the Joint Fire District, I kind of liken that to the first situation, and I don't think it creates any precedent that we need to worry about moving forward, unless somebody else wants to build a fire station.
And I agree. I think the choice in that.
Which we would welcome.
Sure. Right. Discussion? Public comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Dragish?
Yes.
Mr. Cosar?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Tisch?
Yes.
And the number is?
2015-12.
Thank you.
Question. What was the resolution, Governor? I didn't get that.
The resolution was 11.
1511.
And the motion is 12.
Yes. Councilman's comments? Mr. Tisch?
At last meeting, I made a comment about being opposed to speed bumps, speed humps, and those kinds of things. I didn't make any statement as to why. I guess it's always been my belief that the city council, the city administration paves streets in the community to make them smooth riding surface and to be for the benefit of the motoring public. And it's my belief that any time that you attempt to put into the roadway a speed bump, speed hump, or anything like that, that can distract the motoring public. Two things can happen. One is you do have some potential to cause an accident. And two, by the city participating in doing that, I believe that the city could also be putting themselves in a position to be liable for that accident and any damages that occur. That's why I've taken the position that I am against speed bumps and speed humps, and I doubt that I will change my mind, but stranger things have happened.
Thank you.
I would just like to thank Mr. LaCicero for his efforts, and I've been using the word with our police department that we don't want to punish as much as we want to educate, and I think this is just becoming an extension of educating our constituents as to what goes on in the city so they have an appreciation for who does what. I think you're going to make the city a better place as a result of your committee and the things you're going to find out and the information you're going to disseminate to our citizens. Thank you.
Mayor? With that being said, thank you everybody for attending.
Before you do that, one thing that Joe commented on, I don't know that we need to take any action, but he did mention leaf pickup October 12th to November 25th and asked if we were okay with that. And I think I'd like to go on record saying we're fine.
I'm good with it. Yeah,
we're fine.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.